Is anybody on the Zoom meeting that's online, is there anybody that would like to be added to the list to address the council? 5:30. Pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands,
one nation,
under God, indivisible, with
justice.
liberty and justice for all.
Welcome, everyone. I'm going to move right to items from the public, and each person will be given 2 minutes to speak. You don't have to speak a whole 2 minutes. That is the allotted time. There are so many people that would like council control. So we're going to begin with Bethany Bernard.
Of Pacific of the city of starts the mayor to say last time not right. Mayor's here. Living a democracy, not a dictatorship. We encourage all of the city council members to vote no policy. Spend community a policy that allows for representation. The city of Southfield issue a proclamation for California. Mayor, you must do so. Beliefs. However, the policy does say that it does not say that it is required. But one of the factors in not pushing this item are pointing with that out. I guess representing out. We need to know our new factors so we can address concerns, questions, misconceptions, etc. Favors the council to build more policies and practices based on what the majority of people is not with.
I don't have There we go. Okay. You tell how often I use this thing. All right, John Schaefer.
Is anybody speaking? I can't hear a thing.
I can't hear anything at all. We cannot hear. They're working. I don't know what to tell them. If you want to step up closer to the podium and when you speak, those are speakers there, so people online can maybe hear you better.
And everyone that speaks, front to speak so that you can be.
I'm even having trouble hearing the mayor with the microphone direction.
Can't hear me, Craig?
You're very difficult to hear tonight. I don't know if it's a microphone placement or directional or what, but I've heard nothing from anybody in the speaking except you, and you're very difficult to hear.
Well, they were working earlier. I tested them.
We haven't heard any of the speakers. Having some technical issues.
Now, Mayor, we can't hear the speakers at all.
I mean, this is frustrating. Better? Can you hear us better?
Can hear you.
But not the speakers. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now. Can you hear me, Mayor?
Yes. Yes.
Could you have someone down in front speak on the other side of the speaker or this of the podium?
Yeah, we're going to pull everybody up front, Craig, that wants to speak. So they'll be closer to the microphone, so you should be able to hear. Okay. Thank you. So let's move on to Pam Schaefer.
Hi, my name is Pam Schaefer. I moved over here to South Bend from the metropolitan side of Renton, Maple Valley, Auburn, whatever area. We do live in the land of the Republic, not dictatorship, if anybody didn't know that. And so I do not support the pride flag going up because we're in the United States.
Okay. Melanie Hardy.
Our little town is built on diversity, and I think we need to support the diversity in our town. Being gay is like being born black, being born white. It is not a choice, it's what happens. My son at 14 came out. He had people secretly next to him, whether it be maybe one of your husbands in here, your brothers, telling him thank you, a lot older than him, because there was not the support except for his family for him to come out. We need to support these people. They are people of this community. They matter. We need to love each other. We're all human. There's no difference amongst anyone in this room. Thank you.
Thank you. Manuela Tucker. Hi.
I'm here today to make the council aware of a law that was passed unanimously by the Supreme Court in 2021. I'm not sure if you're aware of this. The case in question is Shurtleff versus City of Boston, number 20-1800. The City of Boston had violated the First Amendment when it refused to let a private group raise a Christian flag in front of its City Hall. One of the 3 flagpoles in front of the building, which ordinarily flies the flag of Boston, is occasionally made available to groups seeking to celebrate their backgrounds or to promote causes like gay pride. In a 12-year period, the city approved 284 requests to raise flags on the 3rd flagpole. It rejected only one from Camp Constitution, which says it seeks to enhance understanding of our Judeo-Christian moral heritage. The group's application said it sought to raise the Christian flag for only 1 hour at an event that would include short speeches by some local clergy focusing on Boston's history. Both the Biden administration and the American Civil Liberties Union have filed supporting briefs siding with the Christian group position. The city cannot generally open its flagpole to flags from private, civic, and social groups while excluding otherwise similar groups with religious views, the administration said. Justice Gorsuch writes, Boston candidly admits that it refused to fly the petitioner's flag while allowing a secular group to fly a strikingly similar banner. Not a single member of the court seeks to defend Boston's view that a municipal policy allowing all groups to fly their flags, secular and religious alike, would offend the Establishment Clause. Boston's refusal to follow the petitioners and raise their flag because of its religious viewpoint violated the Free Speech Clause. Basically, all that says in a nutshell is that if any flag that's what... Thank you very much.
Thank you. Krista Garza, I apologize if I'm not saying that right.
Hey, my name is Tristan Zarza. I am a resident of South Bend. I am also a mother and I have 5 children. And I'm here today because I am opposed to the pride flag. And I believe that if the pride flag is something that goes forward, that we should be able to raise any flag, including the Christian flag, which is my own belief. So I think that if you guys go forward with it, that we should have equal rights to it. And I am not somebody that hates gay people. I don't hate them. I love them. I'm not opposed to, people having equal rights. I'm just asking for equal rights as well. And I think that's about what I have to say. Thank you.
Chris Donovan?
I need to go ahead, Mike. There are much face conditions, but you can't hear me. It's because of that reason. I am a member of the Standish Tribe, so I have a question. Have you ever flown the Standish flag here in South Bend?
The Samish flag?
Yes.
No, not that I'm aware of.
So, and so, I could make the argument that the nation of Spanish people are more significant than the American people. And I choose as a citizen and a resident of this community, and I just pledge allegiance to our flag as a nation. So I will allow myself to be subject to the laws of the land. And I think it's important that we follow the leaders in our community to establish laws that are inclusive, but that would be the same as flying the Spanish flag or the Christian flag, or I could say that the pride flag is incomplete scientifically even, and make a case against it for many reasons. So I think it's important that we establish rules and regulations and our leaders be able to establish those so that the people are represented under our nation's.
Thank you. Jack Sowards?
I would like to urge the council, and I think this has large ramifications because those of us who have grown up here have seen a proliferation of special holidays, special observances, special interests. It's this month, it's that month. And I think the real problem is that, as we pointed, we have, is that his time?
No.
Is that mine?
No, somebody's coming on. Sorry. Keep
going.
going.
Well, we have these 100-year-old symbols that we recognize, that unite us. And if we begin to do this, in other words, if we begin to allow visible public symbols, that if we put a flag on that flag post, it implies community and government approval and adoption. And so where will this end? In other words, can everybody come along with another flag that they get their chance to fly? In other words, once you start down this road, where is it going to end? And so I would just urge a policy to avoid that, to keep it simple, that people can have events in parks and, wherever they want to in public that are legal. But as far as our basic national and state symbols, if we start, in a sense, giving credence and authorization to other activist causes, where will that end? Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Let's find out.
I would remind, I didn't say it at all yet, but there's to be no comment, no feedback, nothing from the audience, please. Just people come, speak your say, then there's not to be any clapping, no rejoicing, no nothing, just shh. Okay, so Marvin Davidson.
Well, I'm just happy to be here. Evening, everybody. I'm against the flying of the flag, the pride flag. This is, like we said, the Pledge of Allegiance to one nation under God. I can't see rewarding somebody who has an alternative lifestyle that's immoral, that goes against our Christian beliefs. You're rewarding what someone does in their own home behind their doors is their own business. But to reward somebody we don't even reward our kids for doing bad things, right? You all were elected by a majority vote. It's the majority of people. It's not just a few people, right? They get to make the decisions, okay? We love them, right? We love them as people, right? We just don't like the lifestyle that they lead, that they're trying to push down on the children all the way from college to the elementary schools and the sex education.
Let's keep this kind, okay?
Well, I am. I'm just excited.
You live in South Bend?
I live in Pacific County.
You
I
live
spent my
in
money in
It's all
South
right.
Bend.
Okay. Continue your
I'm
time.
born and raised here.
Continue with your time.
Okay, and I just can't see rewarding that type of a lifestyle that is just immoral all the way down to our children. Okay, we don't reward our children or anybody for bad behavior.
That's
It's
not
immoral.
bad.
It's
Okay,
immoral.
yeah, you're done.
I'm done.
All right, Ryan Jaquay.
Many churches made a request to fly slide.
Not here.
Okay. So the council hasn't decided against anyone, they just haven't taken the time or effort to request. So maybe make an effort before you start complaining. When we decided to move, I'm Ryan Jackway. I moved here about 18 months ago, and when Chad and I decided to move to South Bend, a lot of our friends and family were really surprised that we're moving to a small rural town. Since South Bend isn't like that, we said. We've been coming to visit as a couple for almost 20 years now, and not once did I feel uncomfortable or concerned during that time. We came here with plans to make this place our home, to get involved with the community, and invest in the future of a town we thought had real potential and was moving in the direction of progress. I can't tell you how sad and disappointed I am. This is clearly not the case. I still believe that most of this town are good, decent people with live and let live ideology. Unfortunately, there's an ignorant and woefully misinformed vocal minority that it would seem have an outsized control over South Bend. Letting people live their lives is not controversial. Celebrating the idea that letting people love whomever they choose to love does not in any way impact or reduce your right to do the same. But for some reason, the mayor just couldn't find empathy or compassion among her Christian values, instead choosing to hide behind policies and irrelevant court findings. I have tried to give the benefit of the doubt and to assume positive intent in these actions, but at a certain point, you simply must believe someone when they're telling you who they really are. And as a final aside, I would like to voice my concern that Mayor Sharp intimated at the last meeting that she spoke for the Chamber of Comments in her comments regarding Director Vaughn's letter. As a member of the Chamber, I can tell you this was not brought to the full leadership for review and comment, nor was she given carte blanche to speak contemporaneously for the board or the Chamber at large. Thank you for your time.
Shut the door if you want. Mike Cartesy.
I'm Mike Carpenter, lived here my entire life, pastored in Crossroads Church for 23 years. And thankful for the opportunity to share, work with all kind of people, everybody. When you took the office, you guys were listening, I believe you've done it well. You're equal, fair, and impartial. I believe that the flagpole as it is stands strong, and as it is good enough. When I look at that, I believe the United States flag represents all of us. I'm kind to the words and all those things, but when I see another flag on it that doesn't represent me, if the city council decides to fly another flag in that, hopefully that it would not do the same thing that Raymond did and try to discriminate against my community of faith with things like such government faith or government speech or hiding its religious views. Or if it does, as one said, that it opens Pandora's box, that the city of Boston right at this current moment has just been recently sued by the Satanic Temple because they're wanting to fly their flag on July 23rd through the 29th. I don't think a lot of people, and I wouldn't ask for my flag to be flown on this flagpole out there because I know a lot of people in the room would not like to see my flag on that pole. I feel it disrespectful to the United States colors. I would like us to instead, if we made that decision, forget about focusing on rebuilding an aging infrastructure, forget about rebuilding a diminishing and aging fleet of vehicles in South Bend, forget about grant writing and city needs, because we'll be chasing 284 different flags around here and there because somebody's going to get offended. Their flag's not shown. Your assistants will be running around trying to accommodate whose week it is and trying not to offend somebody. And on top of it, Delaware, San Fernando, Redlands, California, Huntington Beach, LA, and all of Orange County will not fly the pride flag right now because it has become divisive and it opened the door for all these others and it's become too much of a headache. So they said, we will support pride, but we won't do it because it's offensive. I think other things should be focused on that are important.
Thank you. Keith Adams.
You got it here, and they can make pictures of it. Thank you, Council, and Mayor Julie. Good to see you all. So it's kind of interesting. I looked up the definition of a flag, the American flag. This is interesting. It says the American flag remains a living piece of history and a source of pride and unity for all Americans. When I drive by the City Hall and I see that American flag out there, that represents me. And it represents most of the people in South Bend, certainly, and the state of Washington, and probably the United States. I'm pretty sure that's true. But when you put another flag up there, it's just like I had the argument with the mayor in Raymond, did not agree with this at all, that flag, in case this is private, does not represent me and most of the people in South Bend and most of the people in Washington State of America. So why would we want to do that? Why would we want to put another symbol up there that doesn't represent most people? Because like others said, it goes on and on and on. And where does it stop? Thank you.
Erica Marshall.
First, I want to say to the mayor, thank you for not rushing into a decision and letting us all have a voice, so I appreciate that. My comments are this, that I would like to suggest the purpose of the flag is to strike unity and commonality. Now, in a room as diverse as this, we all have varying opinions on many things, therefore we should seek a lowest common denominator. The American flag, the Washington State flag, the POW flag, because we want commonality. That's what a flag is for. Secondly, a flag is to assert sovereignty. There's a reason why embassies in the United States around the world fly the Stars and Stripes, because that territory is sovereignly controlled by the United States. So a flag is a symbol of unity and it is a power play. It is not appropriate in a government building that is funded by all of the taxpayers to fly partisan flags that represent a small constituency. As Mike said, it would open up Pandora's box. And I will say personally, as a Christian, there are many elements of the latest iteration of the pride flag that I find exceedingly offensive and dangerous, particularly the trans movement that does target children and encourages gender confusion. That is totally contrary to my morality. And therefore, I would encourage the council to take a position of neutrality and limit the flags flown on any government building to be the Stars and Stripes, the Washington State flag, the POW flag, but something that represents everybody but is not partisan. That would be my suggestion and recommendation.
Thank you. Bob Hall.
I am Bob Hall, 55 years here, 30 plus up there. A couple of weeks ago, I looked at the council's, on the city's website and was looking at the minutes, and there was a thing that I could click to listen to the audio of the meeting, and it didn't work on my Mac. So I called Julie and she said that they're not doing it anymore because they didn't need to. I think you should resume doing it. It really gives a good feeling of what is said. In the last council meeting, there was a long thing from Cheryl Haywood and from Bethany. In the minutes, there's like 2 sentences each, which is fine for the minutes, but if somebody wants to find out what was said, the discussion and so on, they can listen to the audio. So I would hope the council resumes doing that. Relative to Pride, I'm in favor of either proclamation, flag, banner, something. There was a really good article in the Seattle Times about there's actually 12 different flags apparently. The rainbow one is the most common. And it also had a whole bunch of definitions of all the different gender stuff that might be of interest to some people. Thank you.
Rob Johnson.
Hi, I'm Rob Johnson. I live in South Bend. I know many of you. I used to do karaoke in the entire Pacific County back in the day. Really decided that I was retiring. But I can see within Pacific County, and here we are addressing South Bend, and I am a South Bend resident, by the way. Diversity, you know, and we are diverse people. But as everybody has spoke today, that American flag stands for each one of us. And to put something else, you know, up in between or in its place, just doesn't bode well with me. I have friends that are homosexual. I love them. I would never do anything to hurt them. But the only thing that I stand against is a group trying to push their beliefs on somebody else. I wouldn't do it to you. I expect that you wouldn't do it to me. Okay? And we are one nation under God. As much as we don't want, some of us don't want to hear that, you know, that's the way it is. In that book, it talks about pride, right? Right? So let's be a community of people that share in diversity and love one another, but we don't have to push an agenda on anybody.
Thank you. Chad Jones.
You know what, I moved here, like Ryan said, I thought that this community was a lot more accepting. I don't think anyone's asked that they take the American flag down to put up the pride flag. It was just to show that a community that supports a group of people who need support. Just like slavery, that it wasn't a topic that people wanted to talk about, that people stood up for them and say, this isn't right, this is what should happen. And hopefully you'll realize that by not supporting the diverse community, that it's gonna hurt your community in the long run.
Thank you. Kelly Spore.
I just wanted to say that, you know, we are a diverse community.
Come up front, Kelly. I don't think people can hear you online.
We're
Sorry.
a small town community, lived here all my life. Everybody support everybody. And, but some people don't believe in the same thing. And I think that we should keep the American flag flown on our pole, you know, and working in this community, going to people's houses and stuff. And, you know, you don't always run into the same person that has the same beliefs, but as a city employee, we get a lot of flack for things happening, you know, and I just don't want to have to listen to it from a guy, you know, that doesn't believe in what is being allowed at City Hall. We don't need that in our day. So that's all I have, Mayor. Thank you.
We'll make that good out.
What's that?
Okay. Michael Lander.
Thanks for letting me speak. So I would just like to say that equality always happens within the confines of borders. So for example, You know, we all have different views and we're all standing here with different opinions, but we happen to be in the same room. When we go outside this room, we're all still in South Bend. Within that, we're in Pacific County within that. So you have lots of diversity, but there's always borders. There's always borders. And so it just so happens that we're all Americans, and so we can all sort of rally around that. But once you start to raise a flag, you start to signify that maybe there's a different type of border that we all need to be in. And clearly there's a whole group of people that say we're not willing to play within those borders. And so I think we need to look at the other side of equality. I mean, I know the LGBTQ community will talk a lot about equality and the bright side of it, and it's absolutely, and I'm all for gay rights, but some of the downside of equality is that, you know, an equal experience with somebody like me who's a straight, half white, so I'm half guilty or whatever, like the part of the equality there is that you get overlooked, you get your feelings hurt, you look at a flag like the American flag and you are proud of some things and you're also disappointed in the way that they fall short of some of your ideals. That would be an equal experience. Having your flag that represents your community alongside the American community is not equality, that would be favoritism. The second point I would make is I hate bullies, I really do. And I also hate being bullied. And I just want to make a distinction between right and wrong and tolerable and intolerable. A lot of us, myself included, have a whole long list of things that are wrong sexually. But there's a lot of things I'll tolerate. There's divorces that I think are wrong, but I don't think there should be laws against that. It's a bully tactic to say that if you don't allow the flag of the LGBT community to be flown, that means that I hate gay people and that I'm unsympathetic to people who commit suicide or depressed or stressed. Those two things are not linked. It's not as though if I do this, then I'm supportive, and if I don't, then I'm 100% unsupportive and wish.
Okay, your time is up. Thank you. Okay, that's everybody that I have on the list. Was there anyone that wanted to speak that did not get a chance to sign up?
I'm sorry, I didn't sign up.
Okay, go ahead, Diane.
Well, I'm Vanessa Violet, and I've lived here since 1992. I don't support the flag because it's my life when we had Vietnam, and I'm still hung up on that. I'm glad it's not a law that you have to salute the flag. And I think the flag is something that's there, it's pretty, it's nice, okay, it can be right, but I think that we should be able to fly this as the gay flag, the gay pride flag. I think that's good. We need to support those people. When people say they're Christian, take the log out of your own eye first. Okay, I'm glad you're doing it. And if you say you want to put some other groups' flags up there, sure, fine, let's do it. Right? Let's see how far we'll go. Would be what I just have to do. I like to do it pretty. Nice. Okay.
Thank you. My mother calling. I don't have to call her later. Yes. Okay, so that's everything I have from the public. So we're going to move on to item number 4. I would entertain a motion to approve the agenda, the consent agenda, and the minutes from June 12, 2023.
Second.
Is there any discussion?
Yes.
Yes.
Under Apex permitting professional services at the Alder House, what would that be?
The planning consultant.
Oh,
They're
for the
permitting and all that kind of
for
stuff.
the
Yeah.
new
Correct.
just okay. All right, thanks.
All right. Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. All right, so we move on to correspondence, and we do have a couple items of correspondence. First, we have a letter from Gerald Ashley. Honorable Mayor Struck, it has come to my attention that a group of citizens are requesting the pride flag be flown along with the American flag. As a citizen of South Bend, I am requesting only the flags mandated by the state and federal government be flown in our city. I am against the display of any third-party group's flags. Sincerely, Gerald Ashley. And then I also have a letter. Dear City Council members and Mayor Struck, we respectfully ask you to pass the flag policy as written in the original draft tonight. We believe the city should only fly flags which are required by United States Code and Washington state law. This stance, which we collectively agree on, does not come from one employee's own opinion about any particular topic. City employees, we are all the frontline workers our community members interact with on a daily basis. Although we may not think any particular flag would necessarily be offensive or controversial, we are aware that some individuals in our community may not see it the same way and thus take their frustrations out on other city employees. We believe the United States flag represents all Americans and should be the only flag flown on city-owned properties. And this was signed by a majority of the crew, not the crew, but the city employees. So, there's that. All right. That's all the correspondence, so?
Yes.
Okay. So, item 6. Ordinance number 1589, ordinance relating to the uses and enjoyment of the city boat haven, mooring of boats, oyster dredges, other watercraft, providing for the manner of procuring leases for mooring, and authorizing the city council of the city of South Bend to make all necessary regulations for the uses, occupation, and fixing the charges for the mooring of boats, oyster dredges, and other watercraft, and defining and providing penalties for the violations of this ordinance, and further, repealing ordinance number 1235 in its entirety. And this is the second reading. It was discussed at our last council meeting. So
Mayor, I sent in a correspondence. This is Stephanie Serrano. I'm wondering why it wasn't read.
Because I never received it.
I sent it. It said that it was sent. I didn't get a mail failure notification, and I got the address from Kim, so I know I sent it.
Come on, Stephanie. Let's get through this and then I'll let you read it, okay?
Sure.
Okay, all right. So I would entertain a motion to approve.
So moved.
All right, any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, so that goes. Okay, go ahead, Stephanie. We will allow you to read what it is that you had written.
Okay, it's a little lengthy. Dear City Council members Darren Manlow, Wyatt Kukin, Patricia Corin, Clarence Williams, Jan Davis, and Mayor Julie Struck, I would like to take the point that you were all elected to represent all of us, capital all. Members in South Bend, which includes the LGBTQI in this community and the Chinook Nation on which the South Bend is built on. For our city council to ignore these communities is short-sighted and feels discriminatory for vital members of our community. By refusing to support the LGBT and the Chinook tribal community, this council and mayor only hurts South Bend residents. One has to ask why? Why would such a welcoming town as South Bend refuse to acknowledge or support two groups who need our support? If the argument is that if we put one flag up for the community members, then we must put flags up for everyone. Well, you do represent us all. South Bend represents all these communities, and you become part of the problem by not acknowledging it. What is the harm of a city being inclusive? The number of youth who considered suicide, according to the Trevor Project, is 45%. LGBT youth who feel support from their high school and their community and family have less than half of that rate of suicide. So your actions have real consequences here tonight. I ask you to consider the message you are sending these kids who struggle with their identity in our community, why they look to our leaders for support and affirm their welcome in this community. How can it harm South Bend to fly a flag for the Chinook members who daily struggle to be recognized? Inclusivity is essential in any small community, so all members feel welcome. What is the hassle to fly a flag of support? Just what are you afraid of? Voters' backlash? Attacks? Or engaging in your community in a discussion about diversity and its vitality to a forward-looking council? Raymond has just successfully had a pride celebration. Why should South Bend choose to remain in the past and be saddled with unfounded fear and not support our youth? We are a diverse community. Let's welcome all its members, affirming who they are, ensuring their safety, and ensuring their participation. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, moving on to item number 7. It is the flag policy, for why most people are here tonight. I have a statement that says this is my thoughts. The question before us tonight is not about one flag. And I know most people are here because the initial request was sent by the Pride community to hang the flag. But the question is not about one flag. It's about third-party flags in general. According to the Supreme Court, we are not allowed to have viewpoint discrimination. If we allow one flag, we should allow all. In the Supreme Court case, it was a Christian flag. It could be a different religious flag. It might be another nation's flag. For instance, a Mexican flag during Cinco de Mayo, or any one of a litany of other society causes. The list could be long. Our focus should be long range and broad. The question really is South Bend going to allow third-party flags to be hung? And that's the question before us tonight. It should be all or none. We're not allowed to discriminate. And I would like to correct you, Bethany. I have not said that I would never hang a pride flag at City Hall. I have researched and I have studied. And I have tried very hard to divorce my personal opinion out of this and do what is right legally. It's all or it's none from what I can tell by the law. So that's where I stand. And that's up now to the council to make a decision. So what I have done tonight, I instructed Zoe to put in here a flag policy that currently reflects what we do now. And that is to hang the American flag, sometimes the Washington State flag, and the POW flag. Those are all mandated by law. We've not had other flags hang. So this is a new start for us if we decide to go this route. And this is a starting point. Normally, as you've seen tonight, I asked for a motion and a second first. I'm not doing that on this policy tonight. I'm going to ask for council discussion first, and it is council discussion. It is not for the public to go back and forth. It's council discussion only at this point in time. And the council can discuss and decide at which point this can be amended or not amended, however the council chooses. So that's where I thought we had to start somewhere, so we started where we are currently. And whatever council decides is where we will go in the end. So I hope that makes sense. So I'll open it up for council discussion, and I would ask that each person that wishes to speak take a turn speaking and not interrupt one another until they're done with what they have to say, and give each person a chance to talk before we open up free discussion. So, Councilor Davis.
I'd like to table it, and I'd like the council to spend some time working on it.
On the policy?
On the policy, yes. Researching the policy, researching the legal aspects, researching if we can have a flagpole on the Raceboro walkway that has the Chinook flag, which I feel should be flying in the city of South Bend. This policy doesn't allow for that. And Juneteenth, we should fly that. It's a federal holiday. Doesn't have to be on City Hall. It doesn't have to be next to the American flag. But it can be a flagpole, you know, out on the water there. But you know, I'd like the council to talk about it. We can break up in pairs and we can come up with ideas, and I just don't think we can make that decision tonight. I'm not willing to vote yes on eliminating especially the Chinook flag. I'm not willing to do that tonight.
All right. Councilor Booker.
I personally support flying the pride flag. I'm also fully in support of the city creating a very specific flag policy. If we do not create such a policy, we may be deluged by demands from other groups to fly their flag. There are many city flag policies to review on the internet. I've lost sleep over this. I've researched, I've read so many different policies and the rules and the regulations, and they're just all over. It depends on your viewpoint, whether it's legal or illegal. There is a widely accepted list of 6 heritage recognitions where flags are flown over many, many government buildings. The list is not political, it is humanitarian. The list is a reminder that we here in the United States of America are all equal. It's just too bad we have to be reminded to respect each other and be civil to one another with a flag. The current list includes January, Black History Month, March, Women's History Month, May, Asian Pacific American Heritage Month, June, LGBTQ Pride Month, September, Latin and Hispanic American Heritage Month, November, American Indian Heritage Month, and December, which is pretty permanent, the POWMIA. And I am definitely in favor of including these flags on our policy. Okay, Councilman
I'm in favor of the policy you proposed, sticking with state, federal mandated flags. We've had some discussion recently about proclamations. It was a couple months ago about just what used to be a minimum amount of requests that come into the mayor now. Now it's getting to be more and more. And there's more and more things that we just can't support as a city. And I also see that going in a bad direction if we open it wide open. I would like to just stick with this policy. I'm willing, Jan, to talk about other options, but with the city flagpoles here at the city and at the park that are city property, I am just fully in favor of sticking with federal and state flags.
Okay. Councilor Williams?
I would have to say that, first of all, I'd like to thank everybody for coming out and speaking. And I agree with Darren in the sense that it opens up a lot of uncertainties, and it really is difficult to really think about this in that aspect of what would happen down the road. But in my opinion, I would like to, and I would agree with Jan that maybe we need a lot more discussion down the road, but I would agree with Darren that we just still accept the current policy as read by the government.
Okay. Is there any other discussion? All right, I would entertain a motion to approve resolution number 2023-03 for the flag policy as presented. And do we have a second?
Second.
Any further discussion? Those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed?
Nay.
Nay.
All right, we have 2-2, and in that situation, the mayor gets a vote.
I like, if we can discuss it further.
Not when you're in the middle of a vote, you can't. We can discuss it afterwards, but we're in the middle of it.
I did request to table the vote.
There was no motion made to do that. Hush, listen, you guys are gonna be quiet now. All right, so it's 2-2 right now, and my vote is to leave it as it stands, as it came into the policy.
And that's it.
That's it for now. It can be readdressed at any time later, it can be readdressed, but for right now, we're going to stick with the current policy as it's been written.
Then I assume you'll be taking down the prisoner of war flag, which is the third-party flag.
I'm sorry?
I assume you'll be taking down the PIO, the flag that you have. That's a third-party flag.
POW. The POW flag is mandated by state RCW.
That's true.
Yeah, so that one will stay. So, so that's where we're at. We will stick with our current policy for now. As with anything with the city, it can be readdressed at a later time. All it takes is for a council person to say, I want to talk about this. But this is where we are tonight. So, okay. Moving on to item 8, the resolution 2023-03.
That's what you just did.
Oh, we did, yes, I'm sorry. Okay. So we're gonna move on to Harold LeMay Enterprises contract. This is for the garbage. Let's wait just a moment as people are choosing to exit the room. Okay, so this is the yearly contract with LeMay, who provides our garbage. And in that contract, they have the right to increase rates based on the consumer price index. And so in the year ending February 2023, CPI increased 8.03%. So that's how much they're going to increase the existing garbage rates is 8.03%. And then also the transfer station Royal Heights is increasing the tip fee from $138.98 to $152.09 per ton. So that is increased $13.11 per ton. And then recycling is going up 280%. Wow. But recycling isn't very much. When I was looking at it,
it was $3.
It was, the current rate is $5.66,
deal of the
and it's
century.
gonna go to $11. So that is a huge increase, but it's not a lot of dollars, because it was a small amount. So, I would entertain a motion to approve the contract with LeMay Enterprises.
So moved. Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, motion carries. And item 10, the 2024 Pride Proclamation discussion, Councilor Davis asked for that.
Yeah, I'm gonna table that for now.
Okay,
We'll just do Pride here in South Bend next year.
okay. So let's move on to department head reports. Police Chief Steele.
The only thing I have tonight is, just want to let the council know, I'll be starting the process with USDA to apply for funding for new patrol cars. We've been successful the past 3 years in getting funding through them, so I'm hopeful that we'll get some more funding. That's all I have.
All right. Supervisor Hauk.
Yeah, I just have 2 items. We had the TIB improvement project pre-con meeting last Thursday, and that was with the Midway Underground, or the contractors and the engineers and our public works crew. It sounds like we're gonna have, they're gonna be mobilizing this week, and starting the week of June 5th for the Rockwood project, which goes from Harrison all the way to Adams.
July.
Oh, excuse me.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a 40 working day substantial completion project, 45 for physical completion. And the only other thing I had was the crew has been working on installing the playground equipment down at Cheney Park. So those 2 items going on down there. So that'll be nice.
Is that a Lego show?
It involved me, so. So yeah, anyhow, one of them's up now, it's concreted in, and the next one, probably next week, we'll have it done. And then after that, we'll be over at Pioneer Park doing the wood ditch walkway. So, that's all I have.
Okay. Clerk treasurer, so nothing. All right. And I don't have anything on the mayor's report either. Do I have any public comments regarding, the flag policy, LeMay contract, or the boat ordinance? Yes.
I appreciate your decision. On the flag policy.
I second that. Okay, that's it. Okay, stop.
I actually had a comment
Okay.
about the LeMay contract.
Yes.
Since I pay off way too much money every month, when was the last time there was an increase? Do you have it off the top of your head?
Every year.
It's every year based on the consumer price index with LeMay, with the
So
garbage.
they track that annually.
Yeah.
Because I know when it transferred from the city to LeMay, at the time, it was like a zero increase thing. In other words, the city dropped and LeMay stepped in, and so we did this with no increases. And so, obviously, since I pay this all the time, so are you telling me that there's no control on this for forever, that it's gonna track the CPI?
Correct.
And what
That's the current contract.
Where
with them.
does what CPI, is that
That's the-
local or state or?
It's consumer price index, and I believe it's national.
It's a national CPI?
Yeah. You can Google it and find it.
Yeah. All right, well, I won't take any more time, but I'm painfully concerned about fee increases that we pay here.
Okay.
I'd like to ask why Raymond is able to fly a pride flag without any of hurt feelings, backlash. Why could they celebrate pride, but somehow in South Bend it's just impossible?
I can't comment on what Raymond has done.
They're 4 miles away from us. I can't believe we can't honor that. That's all.
Okay, let's move on to council comments. Councilor Williams.
Nothing from me, Mayor.
I'm sorry, I couldn't quite hear that.
Nothing from me, Mayor.
Okay, thank you. Councilor Manlow.
I'm not a man of many words a lot of times unless I really feel like I should speak. But, anybody wants to personally come talk to me about my vote, I'm willing to do that. Just want to put that out there. There's nothing secret. I will talk to you. So, that's it.
Councilor Corcoran, same goes for me, and as far as the current item, I would like to put the flag policy on the current agenda item.
For future agenda?
Yes, please.
Okay. Okay. Councilor Davis.
I have a request of Mr. Markwell. Quit posting hurtful things on your reader board.
That's your opinion, sir. It's your opinion.
It is my opinion.
Yeah. Maybe it's not right. We all
In response.
Okay.
In response,
Yes, go.
hurtful is a matter of interpretation. So, what you might find hurtful, maybe I think it's.
Warms your heart?
Yeah.
Okay.
If you would, if you'd like to discuss.
No, I don't.
Moment.
No, I don't want to, but you post what I feel is inappropriate, even for children to read. Speaking of worried about children.
Well, if I may, Mayor, address that. There are certain movements afoot, like the transgender movement, that seeks to introduce gender confusion to children.
Okay, let's stop. We don't need, that's your, we're done. We're done. Okay, do you have anything else?
No, I just, because we can't show any sort of love coming from the city hall, I would like him to stop putting hate on a reader board.
Why don't you put a
If you take a rainbow.
Hush, everyone stop.
That's
This
my
topic
request.
is not
That's my
gonna
request.
happen here tonight. Okay, you guys wanna have a discussion outside of council, that's fine, but that's not a council appropriate item. Okay. Thanks everyone for coming again. My door is open if you'd like to see
Does
the,
anybody else have future?
yeah, does anyone else have a future agenda topic? No.
Nope.
Okay, so, anyone, my door's open. You wanna come talk to me? Come talk to me. I'd be more than happy to meet with you. All right, we are adjourned.